Hello everyone, Mr. B coming at you with the Warfare in Ancient Greece Quiz Study Guide Review. The Warfare in Ancient Greece quiz is a relatively short quiz. It's only around 7 questions, so this video should not be very long. As always, we are going to start at the Social Studies message board, and we are going to navigate to the Study Guides button, which is right here. Click there. We're going to get the Study Guides page. We're going to go to Ancient Greece, Unit 3. And we're going to go to the Warfare in Ancient Greece Quiz Study Guide found right here in column 2. Click that. This will open up the study guide. Of course, this is my copy of the study guide. You need to make a copy for yourself. So if you have Gmail and you prefer Google Docs, you are going to go to File, Make a Copy. File, Make a Copy. When you hit that, it's going to bring up this little window. I would replace the copy of right here with your name. Hit OK. When you do that, it'll open up the study guide in a new window. That'll be your copy. That'll save to your Google Drive. So again, if you have Gmail and you prefer Google Docs, go to File, Make a Copy, and then you can get a copy with that. So next, if you prefer a Microsoft Word version of the study guide, you can go to File, Download Microsoft Word. This will download the copy, a copy of the study guide to your computer in a Microsoft Word document. Then you will be able to open up the document, type in it, and save it just like you would any Microsoft Word document. So again, if you prefer Microsoft Word, File, Download Microsoft Word. And yeah, you can use whichever version of the study guide you want, Google Docs, Microsoft Word. Just remember that completed study guides can be turned in for extra credit, so don't forget to send me your completed study guide. All right, let's get to the questions. We've got a few questions, and here we go. All right, so question number 1 says, Ancient Athens was the world's first democracy. Who was considered a citizen, and what rights did citizens have? So there's 2 questions to this this one. First, citizens were free adult Athenian-born males. You had to be free. You couldn't be a slave. You had to be an adult, and you had to be a man born in Athens, right? No one else was considered a citizen. So no women, no foreigners, no slaves. Yeah, it was very limited. What rights did the citizens have? Citizens were eligible to serve on the council. Be serving on the council. That's where you can vote on the laws that governed Athens. So, yeah, citizens were able to vote and take part in their government. Question number 2, what geographic feature led to the Greek city-states developing in isolation? The rugged and rocky mountains isolated the city-states, which caused them to be independent. So if you see the topography of Greece, it is, like the answer says, very rocky, very rugged, not a lot of open space. So the city-states kind of developed isolated from each other because it was hard to get from one city-state to the next because it was hard to cross these rocky, rugged mountains. So because the city-states were isolated from each other, they never united under one large Greek kingdom or empire like other places did. It was always the Greek city-states were always independent. They would have alliances, they would team up with each other, but they always remained kind of independent city-states. So yeah, and that was due to the geography, the Rocky Mountains. Question 3, describe 2 important characteristics of Sparta's government. So Sparta's government was a combination of a monarchy, a democracy, and an oligarchy. So let's break that down. So an oligarchy is ruled by the few. And in Sparta, basically there was 28 rich old guys who were in charge. The 28 rich old guys who were in charge made it an oligarchy. Those 28 guys were voted for who got to be king. So there were 2 kings in Sparta. So the fact that these oligarchs were able to vote, that adds a democratic element. So that's the democracy part. And they voted on who got to be king, right? So the king is the monarchy part. So yeah, Sparta was run by 28 men who were over 60. And those 28 men voted on who got to be the 2 kings. There were 2 kings who led Sparta. The next important characteristics would be that oligarchs were able to hold a lot of power in the government. Remember, these oligarchs, these 28 old rich guys, they were in charge, right? They got to choose who got to be king. They got to choose who got to lead the armies. They had all the power. So that was very important in Sparta. Question number 4. Athens had a direct democracy. why would it be difficult to have a direct democracy in the United States? So with Athens, there's a very small number of citizens. Remember, only free adult-born men can vote, so that limited the number of people who were voting and participating, which makes it easier, right? With the United States, we have such a large number of citizens. There's hundreds of millions of people who can vote, and that would just make a direct democracy difficult. It's hard to manage a direct democracy when you have that many people trying to contribute ideas and contribute, laws and vote on things. It makes it difficult. So it worked in Athens because there was a small number of people, and those small number of people could kind of contribute and debate and create new laws. When you have hundreds of millions of people trying to create new laws, it gets a little dicey. Question number 5. What action by the Greeks led to the defeat of the Persians? So in the Greco-Persian War, remember the Persian Empire was an empire that was in Mesopotamia. They were just to the east of the Tigris and Euphrates River. In modern-day Iran was kind of where they were centered. And the Persian Empire was very strong and vast. They conquered Mesopotamia, and they kept coming west trying to conquer the Greeks. So what did the Greeks do? Well, what the Greeks did was the Spartans and the Athenians came together to defeat the Persians. As we said, the Spartans and the Athenians and all the Greek city-states were isolated from each other. They weren't a large Greek empire. They were independent. So these two city-states, with a bunch of other city-states, but these were the two main ones, decided to team up. They formed an alliance, and with that alliance, they were able to defeat the Persians because the Athenians, because of their location right on the water, they had a really strong navy, and Sparta was landlocked, meaning they had no access to the ocean or to water. They were really good foot soldiers. So if you kind of put the really good navy with the really good army, that was enough to defeat the Persians. Question number 6. Identify 2 causes and 2 effects of the Peloponnesian War. So the Peloponnesian War was kind of the opposite of the Greco-Persian War. The Greco-Persian War saw the Greeks forming an alliance, the Spartans and the Athenians teaming up. The Peloponnesian War saw the Spartans and the Athenians fighting each other. So you basically had the Athenians and all their friends, their kind of allied city-states, fighting the Spartans and all their allied city-states, right? So what were 2 of the causes and 2 effects? First, the causes. The Spartans laid siege to Athens. Sparta attacked Athens. They burned down their crop fields. They destroyed Athens. It was pretty bad. So that was one of the causes of the war. Next, the major cause was Athens and Sparta formed opposing alliances. Basically, they both took opposite sides of issues, and they both formed teams that were adversaries, like I said. So, the Spartans were part of what we call the Peloponnesian League, and that was a bunch of city-states aligned with them and their interests. And then the Athens and the other city-states were part of what we call the Delian League, and the Delian League had different interests, and they were competed for influence. So what were the effects of the Peloponnesian War? First, the golden age of Greece came to an end. The golden age is kind of when Greece was at its best. The golden age is when Greece is at the height of its power. They are just, the strongest kind of civilization around. That all comes to an end. The Peloponnesian War ends the golden age. And then what results with that is the Macedonians end up conquering all of Greece. So you have the Macedonians who are north of Greece, led by a guy named Philip. He comes down and he conquers Greece, and later his son will become one of the greatest conquerors in the world. That will be Alexander the Great. So the Macedonians end up conquering Greece, led by Philip and his son Alexander. Question number 7. Why did the Greeks look for places with resources to start new colonies? So as we were talking about in the previous question, Greece was a very rocky, rugged terrain. There was not a lot of natural resources and not a lot of farmland. So the Greeks looked for new places with resources to start new colonies because they feared overpopulation. They realized that they did not have enough resources to support a big, vast empire, right? They couldn't support the growth that they were seeing, right? So if Greece kept growing and if their population kept growing, they were going to run out of resources, and they knew that because they just didn't have enough. So what the Greeks did was, fearing this overpopulation, fearing this tipping point where they would have too many people for the amount of resources they were able to obtain, the Greeks looked elsewhere. They looked to start new colonies in different places where there was more resources, where they could support a larger population. And with that, that is the study guide. So that's all 7 questions. I hope you got something out of that, and hope you were filling it out along, and I hope you send it in to me for extra credit. So good luck on the quiz, everyone. I will talk to you all soon.